Hey guys, this is Dmitry with Canucks and welcome back to another review. Now you all know we've covered many cases from Lian and I just have to say that every single chassis delivers to the exact same superb build quality that we've come to expect, which is totally deserved for the full aluminum body that you have to pay the premium for. So this is the PC-V358, another cube case on the market that incorporates a few unique features and carries an unpleasant price of $179. It is appropriately sized for a micro ATX chassis, making it easy to work in without it feeling too cramped. Now this is a very elegantly designed case. Certainly it has the appeal for users who appreciate the simplicity. The front ventilation features dual 120mm intake, a lonely power button, and a slim optical drive slot. Both left and right side panels feature extra ventilation with connections located on the right with only two USB 3 ports and audio jacks, and also don't forget the very much appreciated USB 2 adapter. Coming around to the back, we get a power supply bracket that allows easier installation of the unit, plus an exhaust fan for the bottom chamber, and 4 PCI slots for the micro ATX motherboard. The V358 is elevated with good quality case feet, but notice no ventilation for your power supply, which may be a problem. Now notice the side panels don't have any thumb screws and only the top panel has them, so Lian has made the side panels toolless. Just pop them out and you are good to go. The top panel, however, after removing 3 screws, folds out completely, providing really good access to the entire case. The aluminum hinges are very robust and don't show any signs of weakness, which is also excellent to see. The 2 front fans are toolless as well. They sit on rubber grommets to prevent vibration and just easily pop out, plus have individual twist-on dust filters that can be removed for cleaning. Also, Lian includes Molex to 2-pin fan headers for each of the fans to keep all the wiring in the bottom chamber. Now the side radiator bracket is something I would love to see more often as all-in-one water cooling solutions become so very mainstream. The bracket is sturdy and allows a good swivel angle, plus it is easily removable so you can install your radiator off the case. The bottom chamber features 2 hard drive cages, easily removable with just 2 thumb screws, and already pre-installed rubber grommets for your 3.5-inch drives. The problem here is they do not support SSDs, which does limit your options. Cooling for the bottom chamber really shouldn't be an issue considering the rear exhaust fan is right there, plus the 2 front intake fans will mainly deliver cool air to the bottom chamber. Now it's not all lost for SSD lovers, but we only get 2 SSD mounts on the motherboard tray, using the convenient mounting system with rubber grommets. But depending on your radiator setup, one of the SSD spots might be rendered useless, as was the case in our scenario. This is particularly disappointing considering the main purpose of the bracket is to be used with the radiator. Now there's a large rubber grommet to pass your cables from the bottom chamber, but it is mainly blocked by the drive cage, and I wasn't able to pass the 24-pin cable unless I first removed the cage, and this is sort of my biggest critique of the chassis. The bottom chamber is just not designed well. There's this large underutilized space behind the fan that is in most scenarios would be just left empty, and I would have loved to see either an SSD cage to be placed there or just relocated second drive cage. Speaking of which, there's 20 centimeters of clearance until the drive cage for your power supply, but as you can see it is very tight with our 18 centimeter unit, and really only way to do any cable work is to remove the drive cage, which of course can later be put back. The power supply is elevated on a rubberized platform, but the usual bottom ventilation is missing, which is a disappointment. And well, finally starting with the assembly, it is fairly easy to work in terms of routing the cables, and the case will support GPUs up to 13 inches. It was a bit cumbersome to close the top panel just because of the front panel connections and high PCI Express cables, but overall it was pretty straightforward. Now you are limited to CPU towers up to 13 centimeters, but the case really is designed for an AIO water cooling system, and with an excellent swivel bracket to simplify your installation process. But even then I wasn't completely satisfied with the V358 just because there are some unpleasant compromises. Now, on a positive note, this is Lian, so you are getting an outstanding build quality product. The side radiator bracket is totally awesome and functional for an AIO water cooler, and it can certainly pack a punch when it comes to hardware support in this relatively compact enclosure with long GPUs and a total of 6 mechanical drives. And well, here comes the negative train. My biggest critique is the layout design for the bottom chamber. There is this empty space that is underutilized and could potentially house an SSD cage. The drive cage in front of the power supply pretty much blocks the rubber grommets, which makes cable routing into the main chamber more challenging. And for a chassis of this caliber, I certainly wasn't expecting that. Plus, only 2 SSD mounts is very limiting, especially since the one closer to the radiator may be completely blocked. And wrapping it all together is the price. It certainly is a bit on the high end, but working with a full aluminum chassis is an absolute pleasure, and I guess that is the price that you pay. But let us know what you guys think of this case and this whole cube concept. I think it has a place within a certain niche, but is this the right way to go? Leave your comments down below, don't forget to subscribe for more reviews, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.